So let's start with the groups. I think that they deserve that, not the effort, because all these exercises consist as well. It's a practice, of course. To work alone, it is easier. No, you take your decisions, you don't waste time. But nowadays we have to get used to. Architecture is so complex that we have to work. We have a cat here. It's part of your group. Okay, architecture, we do need to work in groups, and it's part of our education. I mean, my education was the opposite. It was to be like a hero, no, against the world, alone. But then suddenly you become sick or whatever, and then all your project went. So, but here, if somebody cannot work or that, the group continues working as well. Then you have to take the group in a positive way, no, not to. At the beginning, once you get used to, is. So let's see. So yeah, since you are people of your group are here, you say. But please tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us. Do you want to? You have chosen. I understood the U house between all of you, right?
Yes.
Do you want to share the screen with the? Have you made the photo montage for today?
Sorry, what did you say?
Did you make the photo montage, the collage?
Unfortunately not. We haven't finished that part, but we were thinking about, I can tell you about our thought process of what we want to do,
Okay.
if that works for you. So we were looking at like the process of grieving in, like, especially in the U house, and like the house itself was made to isolate people away from like society, but it was also to give them that space for contemplation and thinking and stuff like that. And 21 years after the house was built, they demolished it, but it wasn't necessarily a negative thing, because it meant that they had the time to reintegrate to society. And we were kind of looking at like Japanese cultural associations with grief and mourning and stuff like that. And because it's found in Buddhist rights, they had more of the tradition and the community and stuff like that. And they had this opportunity of coming together, and it used to be at homes that this kind of thing was hosted. Whereas when you look at the U house, it's only for the family, and there isn't this space really for dining except for the family. And we were thinking about how has it changed now, and there's even like laws in Japan around how long you can grieve. So it's like 7 days, something like that. And like in society, it's very like inappropriate to show like negative emotions. So a lot of people suppress like something that like grief is a very emotional, and it's a very like consuming thing. You can't really put a time limit or something like that. At least that's what we believe. And you can't really show this to other people. So we wanted to look at the action of dining, and we wanted to look at how could we redesign this house to have a focus on letting the community in and actually leaning on.
The connection, we lost you. The connection, we have lost your sound. We cannot hear you. Still, I tell you something. No, we cannot hear you. I think that WebEx is a platform that if you don't show any drawing, they cut your sound. Cannot hear you. So, has anyone worked with a collage for today? And the idea for today was to organize groups, to choose a house that all the group wants to work with, to write the evolution of the house, or the family indeed, in the last 20 years, and then to illustrate. No, do you know that
Sorry,
those?
I kind of missed the last part because my thing stopped working. Sorry, but I can hear now.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. You know that your sound went off, but you haven't done any collage or nothing.
Not yet, but we're gonna come bring it together and have something ready for next week.
But this next week is the project. I mean, now you have to work faster. I mean, the idea for today was to illustrate, all the conflicts, the controversies that happens, that you introduce. I mean, you have to understand the aim of this exercise. It's double. First of all, I mean, I remember when I was like you, my education as an architect, the teachers show us houses by important architects, and they told us to design another house like as they do. Then it was a frustrated classes, because we try to emulate Le Corbusier without not being Le Corbusier. I mean, we are not asking you to design a house like Toyo Ito. We are saying that you to integrate into the story of the house something that you feel touched by, no? For example, you in your case, Soya, you chose before the house Villa Ambar, no? That idea of how architecture is territorial, no? The political thing, then that kind of things, no? That the architect, if you ask me, Javier, do you like Villa Ambar? I don't know. For me, it's not interesting question. Do you know that I like that house or not? What I find very interesting that architecture, how it is created through that point of view. No, then it's a total different perception. That here in your case, if the group they choose to work with whatever as I say, controversy that nowadays, the 21st century, and to introduce that in the evolution of the family, to make some touches on the house, then the aim of the exercise is that, you to update the house. But for that, we lose your sound. You can put your.
Yeah, sorry, that was what we wanted to do. We wanted to keep the house shape as it is, but we wanted to expand the dining area to have more of a focus on that being the central part of it, rather than because some of the comments that we read about the daughters that lived in the house is that it felt almost like a coffin and stuff like that. And they had this it's this in the house they could always see each other, but then it also meant they were isolated from the rest of society and they were only eating with each other. Whereas we wanted to have the same space for the family to grieve and have that form, but we wanted to leave the space also for other people to come into the space by focusing on the act of dining and the act of sharing food and people being able to bring food.
Okay, but for example, a quick photomontage of that situation, no? That can help you later very easily to make architecture, no?
Definitely.
Not to start designing with a blank page of paper, no? Oh my God, what shall I do? But that's why that collage, I think, is much more interesting. That looks like you will see. So for next week, you need to do both things, and to complete. And let's see if do we have any example of somebody who has done it, who has the group selection, the evolution of the story.
Yes, we have done that.
Please, can you share a screen and to show that photo montage and then to speak about evolution, looking at it? And who are you? Darío with whom?
Darío with Jorge Berenguer, Luis, and José Tony.
Okay. And they're here?
Yes, they are here.
Sí, estamos aquí.
Okay, perfect. Hey guys, I know that all of you, no, not all of you, we have Erasmus. I don't know how the Spanish of the Erasmus going on, but we could speak Spanish, but you know that this course is in English. So we have to make the effort, okay? Go for it. Do you want to share?
Well, yes, I'm going to share.
Thank you. So the cat is the most interested one in the course. You will be, I hope you have the owner of the cat introduce the non-humans, no, in your architecture, no?
Okay. Okay, are you seeing it?
We see the story, the text. If you go more down, we will be able to see the. Okay.
Like this?
Well, we don't need to see the text. You just focus on the image and without reading, no, just summarize what has happened. What is this
Yes.
about? What has happened in the last 20 years?
Okay, I could try to speak about it.
Okay.
But I can't see the.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Now?
okay. Now, perfect.
Okay, so what we were thinking about the new end of the story is that as the family members started to abandon the house, the little sister, which was an interested person of the arts, when they went to the demolition with Toyo Ito, the family went present on the demolition of the house, and she felt a little like she felt something about the house, because for her it wasn't only a house but a museum. So she started like combining their likes about expressionism and things like that, and presented a new project, a new concept to Toyo Ito once the house was demolished, and she tried to tell him that the house wasn't for living, just as a museum of her own emotions, or how has she lived there. And then they developed the house again with some elements which focus, for example, on the loss of his father, on the living there with her mom and her sister, and things like that, and in the format of a museum. That's why we try to figure the things as if it were a museum.
Then basically you would transform the house in a museum and for public.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little expressed on the text.
Mm.
But the house is demolished and turned it back. It's different. It's not the same.
Ah, you demolish the house.
Yes, the house is demolished as in real life, but then in the terrain, the same terrain, she develops a new project.
Then you are
combining.
going to design the museum for next week.
It's we have already the idea for the plant, and then a little bit, yes.
I smile because we try to look like easy workshops, or that means workshops that can be developed in three days. But if you tell me, can I design a museum in 3 days? No. You understand? It's a lot of, it's very difficult. One thing is to say how a house for living can be transformed in a museum without demolishing it, you know, because it would be different. For example, I remember in Reykjavik, I went to a restaurant that the restaurant was in a house, in an old house. And it was very nice because they kept most of the furniture or the decoration of the old house. But they put tables, of course, to eat. Then I was having dinner in a bedroom. And the bed wasn't there, but it was the photograph of the family, the lamps, of the bedrooms, the decoration. I'm talking about very, very old house. Then you are in a different context. You are not in a restaurant cold or fashionable, but you are you know. And for me, it was very nice because the food, it was local food, you know, make that. Then the living room, but there were more tables. There were many people, you know, but there were every room had its memory behind. Then how to transform a house, in that case, it was into a restaurant. Then you make a hybrid project. You know, it's like an opportunity of doing something. But if the guy would say, no, no, I demolish the house and I design a restaurant, it would be a trendy, no, a beautiful restaurant. But you have here the opportunity of saying, museums nowadays, I can see those images. The visitor is a visitor, it's a static, you know, it's something that don't touch, no? They always tell you, don't touch, don't cross that line. I mean, you go to a museum, but in a home, you leave the house. Is it possible to leave the museum? You know, it's possible to learn from a home, you know, and to, I think that you can, if you keep the house and transform that into a museum, you will have to do something. You cannot just put paintings in the walls and to say it's done, no? But what happens? Because perhaps you will see the shadows of the visitor on the paintings. You understand? Then you start discovering new things. Think about that, because to start from scratch, the design a museum is not part of this workshop. It would be, you would need, you know, 2 months minimum to do that. Do you agree?
Yes.
The demolition was because the history of the house is that the finishing is that it's demolished, but okay, we can change.
I know, but this is an exercise that allows you, you know, to say, no, we rebuilt it, and that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but the idea, think about that, no? How can you make a museum in a home? That is very interesting. Because what are the values? I mean, perhaps it's not, a museum is not a museum of paintings. There are museums nowadays of objects, of museums of, you know, ways of living. Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone wants to do to make any comment? Please, you just.
Hello, guys. I think that photo montage can be anywhere except for the image in on the wall. I don't know, maybe mm, mm, how I know that is the, the place to remember. I don't know. It could be anywhere, right? I think when I saw your photo montage, I think it could be in I don't know, in wherever. Yes.
I remember
Yeah.
Claudia.
Are the three in Spain? From the Spain?
Yes, we are from Spain. Yes.
Okay.
Claudia, I remember when you took me to Luis Barragan house, that now is a museum, no?
Yes.
Then, how to transform a house into a museum. I mean, it's true that we want to see how he lived, I mean, we were not to see paintings. There can be museums of the house itself. Here it can be museums of the values, no, of that Toyoito offered to his
Yes.
sister.
And to work with the space also.
Okay.
Yes, that's all, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where is Javier?
I was coughing. I went for water. So, okay. Any other group? Do we have any other group here?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear us?
The sound is pretty bad, no? Or what?
Receiving. Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I think you like two ghosts there talking. Yeah.
Okay. So I will share my screen. Just to. Okay. So can you see our screen?
Yep.
Okay. Great. So we're studying the Plum Grove House. So yeah. Sorry, just a second. Could you mute? Could you turn it up? Don't off the sound. So we're just having some technical difficulties. All right. Can you hear us now?
Yep.
Okay. So we're studying the Plum Grove House in Tokyo by yeah. Tsushima. Yeah. And comparing it to childhood home in Austria. So do you want to talk a bit about that? Yeah, so the main difference is that there's separated rooms, which is here is always in the Plum Grove house is this connection within every room and with those small windows where you can look through. Yeah. So I think what sparked our curiosity is to compare them because how do we describe this? By comparing them, it will show the large differences. How do we say this? This house, the Plum Grove house, is a very special house. I honestly struggling to figure out what to say, to be honest. The point where we want to compare it is maybe the generation shift. And that's also the part where we want to make the next part of the house, the story. Yeah. We're not very good at this, right?
Well, guys, it's not. You said that you want.
Hello, sorry. Can you hear us? So the demographic changes, the population or the. Where did you get to? Okay. Well, obviously it's in Tokyo, and we wanted to study the recent changes in demographics in Japan, and there's been a large population decrease with fertility rates drastically decreasing, and with an aging population which is having an effect on the society, and affecting the housing structures and healthcare, and also we'll talk. We studied housing structures, typical housing structures, to get a bit more of an idea about the environment in which the house was built, such as the post-World War II, where housing was in exceeding demand, and yeah, like that. And just we studied the typical features and layouts and stuff like that, and how to maximize efficiency, which this house is quite special in how it's maximize the use of space, because it's a very small house, and she was very clever in how she designed it for this family, because there's a lot of rooms. I think there's 17 rooms in this house, which is a lot for how small of a footprint. And
But apart from admiring Kazuyo Sejima, do you propose anything or directly to hire her?
we can move on to that. So our
So we looked at
Yeah.
so this house was built in 2004, and we looked at this situation. So it was two parents with two children and one grandma.
yes,
We also wrote down the ages. Like in 2004, there were 50, 40 children, 10 and 18. And so 20 years later, so now they are this age here. And we want to change the house to fit the current situation.
yes,
So this would mean this needs to be extended.
Mm?
And when you look at the blocks, it's there is still, so there are the trees, and there's still this space where it's just like a garage or just a space for just a car.
Yeah.
And this is the only space left where we can propose or where we can
without destroying any of the plum trees. Yes.
Basically, in the evolution of the family, they just got more years, no?
But if you have a look, there's also we're kind of predicting what we assume would have happened.
So we said that one of the children moved out, and one of the children has a girlfriend, and there's one child. So now there's basically the parents, a couple with the child,
Yes.
and still the old lady.
And we got this from our studies of like how the family structures are changing in Japan, and we kind of based it on.
Okay. So the idea is to make an extension of the house in that side? Are they gone?
Okay, yeah. So this is where you see the like age, the aging.
Yeah, this is the aging population. It's
Okay.
in the future, it's going to have a big impact. Anyway, we'll get on to, this is a little sketch we've done to show the extension that we propose. And it's still early days, but.
What I think, I mean, the idea is good, but the point is that I wouldn't think only in quantitative square meters that you need, but as well in qualitative. I mean, the lady now, the grandmother is 90 years old. What are the needs for a 90 years old person? Her space, or the use of the house, it will be different than when she was more agile.
Yeah, so especially for looking when looking at the grandpa or the old person, the ground floor is very compact, and this ground floor bedroom would be the bedroom for the old lady.
But imagine that the old lady.
So we have having. Sorry.
Imagine the old lady cannot lay down in that way so easy, no, from the bottom. I mean, she needs to have to be helped having a shower. Or I mean, there are people, she has even dementia. And with, I think that you can see the drawings of Kazuyo Sejima. In the end, is minimum architecture. It's a line. This house, indeed, it is built in metal.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't got columns. It hasn't got beams. It's like a cart, making a castle of cards. No, this is thick metal, all the walls. That is the structure. It's like, is that drawing? This drawing is not a sketch. It's the reality of the house. It's amazing. You know. So,
Yeah, we understand.
so the value, I think the information that comes here are the furniture. No, looking at the furniture, we can imagine how they live, what are their needs. Then what it would happen if you have to change the furniture? If you draw a wheelchair, for example, for the lady, to start modifying that, no? The children, perhaps they need a table to study or not. Redraw, the house with the new uses, not only in size. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Any other comment?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to comment, or we pass to the next group? No? Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Thank
Right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, what to do? In Mexico, you said that you're not working in groups, you are individual.
We are another group if you want. We can present.
Who are you?
Nestor.
Nestor. Pues venga,
We
Nestor,
are,
please.
we are Joan Albert, Adrian, and Efren. But Adrian and Efren, they have other classes, so they can't join.
Friday afternoon.
Yes, classes not from the university. They're doing a model.
Fantastic. Okay.
So what we do is like, first of all, we put in common the four stories of each other to understand what we want to do. And we arrived to the conclusion that we have some things in common. For example, Adrian, the story of Adrian focus on the accessibility and the fluid movement of the house. He, yes, of that. Then in my story, I focus on the materiality and the methods of construction of the houses. And then Joan Albert and Efren, they focus on the connection with the house and nature. So we made here some pictures to I don't know how to say it in English, to destacar the our themes. Then we made a study of the 30 years of Carlis, the progression in the culture, methods, and that. But now we pass to this. We make here a photo montage of the change of the story. So what we change it's like Hudson. First of all, we decide to make the project in Canlis because after putting all the ideas in common, we think that Canlis is the house that has more things in common, and so for that we decide this house.
Okay.
Then the previous story is like Hudson. After doing Callis, he made Can Feliz too because he don't want to stay more in Canlis because of problems with the sea and materiality, and he made another house in the middle of the mountain that the name is Can Feliz. So what we want to change is like Hudson want to do the new house, and he will stay in this house for all his life, and he will make some changes to his house to be able to live there. Like, for example, what we think is that when someone gets older, lose mobility. And according to the theme of Adrian, that's the mobility of the house. We made some changes in Canlis. Here you can see the difference of the house. Like, this is the previous model. The previous model is the realistic house, and this is our project. We made all the house in one floor to make the mobility better. And then all the other things like the connection with the nature and the materiality of the house, we will, yes, it will be there because Canlis is connected with all the nature and that. So basically, the idea is to make changes to Canlis to be able to live there all his life.
Okay.
And that's all. We have to make more drawings, but that's the idea.
Well, here the point is that if each of you, no, you are working like a group of experts, no? Each of you is expert in something. Your colleague, no, the experts in mobility, if he has been analyzing, even showing you the house of rent coolers with the platform, well, it solves the problem here very easy, no, to say flat.
Yeah.
Well, precisely when one learns from coolers is that you can have a rich, no, house, being in a wheelchair, you can design the house around you, that the house of coolers, the guy in the wheelchair has more mobility than any of us.
Yeah.
And that is what makes the house extraordinary. Because otherwise, we are missing opportunities of design. Where is the problem is that flat, it's too cold, close windows. It's too that, and then you make a bunker, no?
Yeah.
The poor John Hudson will say, guy, you have destroyed my house. I make a house,
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But for example, one thing comes to my mind. You are sitting in the living room of Hudson, and since the floor is going down, 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 you see the sea. In your new one, you are sitting in the living room.
Yeah, I will see the floor.
Your
Yeah.
platform see the dirty floor. No, you are seeing there always the dirty floor, and you don't see the sea. I think that the vision, the notion of a house as a cone view, not only in horizontal, but as well up and down, and you are sitting and you to see from your living room, you are like floating over the sea. That is magic. No?
Yeah.
And those are tricks in the design.
Okay, we have to change it. We have to.
You have to speak
more.
to the experts.
Okay.
That would be interesting thing, that if each one is an expert of something, I mean, to bring that knowledge to here, and the house to be, if you want, like a monster, no? That would be fun as well. To be, imagine to say, this group, they know so much about architecture that they have made, a combination of incredible architectures there. And they have created a monster, but has its logic, no?
Okay.
Another way of thinking, the question would be that, can you make the most perfect house, taking the most incredible things from many houses and putting together? Because perhaps it's not. The answer is bad, but it's worth it to try and to see what happens, what monster you can create.
Okay.
No,
What do you think about it?
Can be interesting, at least. Okay, thank you. I want to see a project from Mexico, no?
Javier, we was confused. I think the photomontage wasn't for today. Also, my students, right?
What then for today, what was the idea? To see each other.
The
Hi,
idea is
how are
to
you?
work in class.
Okay. No, there are always misunderstandings, no? But I try to, in the last post, I put it down. I put for today with the link of WebEx. I finished written the elements, but I suppose I wasn't clear. If so many people, that the point is that next Friday is the last Friday. Then we have
Yes.
Christmas. So we have to run a bit more. No?
Yes.
Have you, in the Mexico team, have you done something for today? Or spoken about the story? Or
Maybe Danny,
Danny?
just
Um,
can
uh,
you show your photomontage?
yes, but Christopher he's the, uh, él es el que habla mejor inglés y sí me cuesta un poquito de trabajo, lo escribimos, pero si quiero lo puedo leer y enseñarlo.
No, to read, no, you have to just to explain what's about. But still photomontage, I haven't seen any photomontage.
No, sí tenemos el fotomontaje, pero escribimos, bueno, la historia y está, o sea, está escrita en inglés y si quieres se la puedo leer, pero es que no, me cuesta mucho trabajo hablar inglés.
Trata, but that is the part of the exercise,
Okay.
really to speak in English. Try to share the photomontage, please.
Okay.
Is he gone? Yeah. We can see.
Yes.
Are you here?
Yes, I am. But I try to the photomontage.
You have to press the bottom down. It's in the middle, written compartir. Oh, shall we see another one meanwhile?
Danny, is everything okay?
Yes, but es que estoy tratando de compartirlo, pero no puedo.
No.
Mm,
But is he here? Do you see now you are doing. We can see it now. You are sharing, but you have the project finished.
Yes. The story is about Sofia and Emiliano decided to move into her family house. One of the first works of her father of Sofia, he renovated architect Frank Gehry. This house, which blended modern lines with traditional touch, was a full story, but Emiliano is a fashion designer with a style reminiscent of Rick Owens. Had a completely vision for the space. He adapting the house, it transforming in the intervention main walls, creating a structure that evoked one of our landscape houses using this wall, uh, using concrete, glass, metal, he merged architecture and nature in a single gesture. He replaces the garden with cactus and native plants, giving a distinctly Mexican touch. The project didn't end there. Emiliano, always striving for perfection in his work, built an aerial studio on top of the house, shaped like a flying saucer. It blended seamless with the surrounding trees, allowing him to design without altering the sense of the home. Uh, this is a unique space where tradition and modernity fused to create a home where a full story was ready for creative and innovative future.
Okay. So, what are the controversies that you are introducing in the project?
The cultures, because here Emiliano is Mexican and he needs um, uh, eh, um, eh, ¿cómo se dice introducir en la casa?
Introduce?
Introduce in the house elements of his culture. He admires Juan O'Gorman
Yeah.
because he uh, he introduced in the house this wall remembers that biblioteca la biblioteca central, the murals, the elements like nature, cactus, and one studio for him because he is artist.
Last week that we were working with this project with a student of Morocco, they make houses that they have like Moroccan pattern, very geometric, no, like in the Islam pattern. And they were saying that this was the essence of the Moroccan architecture, but it was a pattern. Do you understand? They wasn't speaking about anything else. Then I wonder here if shouldn't be the Mexican architecture, okay, decorative, fine, but what about the space? What about the, no? Or like the relationship with the exterior, I don't know if it's typical to use. I mean, you have incredible vegetations, how it comes, the idea of the porch. I mean, elements, hybrid elements between nature and the house that they go beyond the decoration, no? Because here, looking at this image, what I see is decorative things. But I would like you to speak about, I insist, that the quality of space, no? I mean, what is your client miss, no? The Mexican guy say, wow, what I miss is this element, no? Or perhaps it can be the kitchen. The kitchen of Frank Gehry is not ready to cook how we cook in Mexico. Or the, for my experience when I was in Mexico and they were explaining the important role of the kitchen as a place, no, in many communities in Mexico to really to gather the family, no? Elements that Danny, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I don't think in this because the story is is not tan profunda. No la desarrollamos tanto aún.
Okay, but do it because it's worth it.
But
Because
had the idea of mix of cultures,
yeah.
but not in the interior.
I would do that, no? I would do to give more meaning and the needs of a space. If you say it's an artist, will need a place to work. ¿No?
Yes, this is el platillo volador, bueno, como lo que está aparte, el platillo volador, this is the studio of Emiliano.
Okay.
Ajá.
Okay. Well, that is an interesting thing. Well, very good. It would be great. I'm dying for seeing the plans, like a section of what you are doing and to see beyond the decoration, that is very good, the decoration, but to see how you live the house.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
Eh? Okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No? What do you think, Claudia?
I think Juan O'Gorman, I don't know, that house. But I agree with you, Javier, about to think in activities, necessities in Mexico and the space, because Juan O'Gorman decorates. I don't like, but I don't know. It's nice for you. It's okay. But I think Juan O'Gorman has many concepts to work. For example, they change from functionality only, and then organic places. It's O'Gorman has more than to work in this case. Maybe for the next class, you can explore and search more about him. But it's nice and it's strange, but nice. Thanks.
Super. Shall we see another example? No? So how to do it? For next week, you will have to bring everything or what? Yeah? Yeah? What wasn't clear, the task for today?
Can I show my?
Please.
Can you see?
Yeah?
Yeah, so I was working in Can Liz and Can Feliston, John Hudson, and I tried to transform the first one, the Can Liz, in a workshop of diseño sostenible. So I see that the house is good for show things that can be learned from the local traditional sistemas constructivos tradicionales and the local material and the use of the lights. So how we can follow the solar and introduce the light of the building, the simplicity and introduction of the house to the nature. So I think that are things that we can learn, and I create a workshop in that house so we can learn that thing. So the culture of Mediterranean, so elements and to relax, the place to see the landscape, the solar, el recorrido del sol, the traditional muebles, ¿cómo se dice en inglés?
Furniture.
Furniture. yes, the artisanal furniture,
Mm,
introduction of the house to the nature, and that's it.
mm,
And this is like a workshop that we can do in this project.
mm,
So and the second button touch that can fill it. So I try to do a, a phone to chill to stay relaxed,
mm,
and that the la finalidad to the outcome to create that house, the privacy. But I look in a better way, so I maybe try to do a place to we can do a party. So there are
mm,
to try to relax the and relax so re, tran- relax to stay chill and
mm,
relax to desconnection to stay in a party to do another thing to so that I think that I change that
mm.
an idea and I mean to I do that and I mean in the night to LEDs more lights, loops, LED, and that's all.
Okay. Here the point is that when we are asking you to do a project, to introduce an evolution of the family, is to force you in a way to have to modify the house. If you find those houses that I agree, they are impeccable and I wouldn't touch them. But this is an exercise of architecture. No? We are not saying that we are going to do it. But if you don't touch them, another way of asking you, I mean, is to say, what is your job, no? Or how are you going to charge as an architect, no? If I am the client and you say, okay, this is my project, how much do you want me to pay you for this? Because
In that case, I didn't do any. So
then
the last photo set I want to change, and I like to add new new things. So I see the other project to change things. So I want to change things.
to change what?
Uh, the architecture not in C, but I want to change the add lights, LEDs to make an ambient of a party. So not not change the architecture of the house ni that. So only the ambient, no the that's more fun.
But it's as I insist, I think that, guys, you are missing an opportunity to making a project. Because when we are asking to use controversies, one could be in your case, the idea of tourism. These houses, John Woodson left the first house because one of the reasons was as well because he lost the privacy. But nowadays, the tourism, the people from Alicante, how many thousands of people go to Benidorm, but every day. Do you understand? Is the notion of tourism is not that we're counting doing something for tourists. It's an industry nowadays. That is a real problematic. Not problematic. It's an issue to deal with. No, how do you make a museum for thousands of people? How do you do things? This house that has that scale is a home to be a place of. If you look for issues nowadays, I believe that tourism is the biggest industry nowadays. If you put that, is when the project comes. You feel obliged to how to do the car park for the buses, how they come. They will need toilets. They will need. I mean, that is house thought for members. What happens when you have 80 visitors and 80 and 80 and 80, where are you going to keep the materials? Where are you going to, You have to do something. Do you understand? It's,
Not much.
no? That a museum nowadays is not one person then in yoga position. That is not. You know? Nowadays,
Yes.
the notion of tourism is different. When I was last week in Morocco, people love going tourists. We love going to a place and to see an old man doing handmade something and to buy that. Well, if you analyze, it's impossible because to that old man, they come buses full of tourists. Then you have that old man cannot produce, textile to be selling so many. So they are made in China. But we like, thinking that we are buying from the old man. This is a radical, well, it's not so radical, it's a realistic thing. But if you make this house to be a museum, you have to do something. You have to modify that. It cannot have 2 toilets only. You have to introduce visitors that are in wheelchair. I mean, there are many things to deal with. It's not as easy to say a guy sitting there very relaxed. That is not a museum. Or at least the museum would collapse, wouldn't get funding to be paid, wouldn't defend.
Okay.
But take that in a positive way, as a way of obliging you to have to think and to make the project.
Yeah, I have to change a lot of things.
But exactly. But that is the idea. What happens if you have a house and you introduce a new controversy? In your case, is the tourist that they go to visit to learn about, come a bus with 80 people there, 60 people. Wow. How do they enter? Where are you going to put the shop? Because in those places there is always a shop. Where are you going to put the entrance ticket? Where are you?
Yeah, okay, I understand. Yeah,
Okay. Indeed, in Spain, for example, there is a very interesting case that is like surrealistic, and it's true that there are caves, very important, Altamira caves. One of the caves more that you have the most beautiful drawings, prehistoric drawings. And I say beautiful because you know that they are painted on the rock, but the artist, you can see the prehistoric man that was an artist, used the curvature of the stone to paint the cows, the bulls, using the curvature and giving that more, even a movement or giving a representation. I mean, they are not flat drawings, although he drew it flat, but he was looking the volumes, no? Well, this place is so famous, and now the massification of visitors is so high that it's getting damaged. What has the Spanish government done? To replicate by the Altamira cave, they have built another Altamira cave that is exactly the same for people to see that and to preserve the original. Then if you analyze, when you go now to see Altamira cave, you are seeing a replica. Somebody could say it's a fake. Yeah, it's totally fake. It's done with resins, plastic, painted. But identical. Then perhaps you are obliged in your project to reproduce can lease attached to that to make another one because people are going to destroy it. And in that new can lease, the corridors, the spaces that they are different, although they look like the same, in order to accommodate, visitors to go inside, to sit down, to see. Do you understand? You can propose the most crazy project. You can propose the most crazy project because in reality, the reality is crazy. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good project to replicate Kali, but modifying the things I want to do. So
Yeah, but if you explain that now to your friends, you say, guy, have been asked to work with an existing house and I'm going to make a replica to this. Other people will tell you are crazy. At the beginning, sounds strange, no? But you tell the story of Altamira and you are perplexed. So, it's a very interesting dilemma. What shall we do? Shall we continue visiting or shall we make something elitist that only PhD, researchers can visit Altamira and no one else in this life? For next semester, I'm going to announcing you the workshop we are going to do that I believe is a competition, international competition. For me, is the most interesting one, and is that people in Amazons, tribes in Amazons, that they have a feather in the nose, they go with taparrabos, with like almost naked, and a guy married with 5 women. They want to have a modern house. They are fed up of living, in a choza, with wood and that. And we want a modern house. And then they have bought bricks and they start badly building what they consider is a modern house in the middle of the jungle. Then the Ecuadorian government has said, no, you cannot do that because this is the Amazons. It's a patrimony of and then the world then. But the guy said, but it's what we don't want to live still in, we want to have a modern house. So the competition is about how to design a modern house, what they understand is a modern house for the Amazons. And the winner builds that. And I think it's a very good FASA workshop of UOU because it's 3 weeks workshop that to design is just only a single house. A single house that is 2 rooms. The pattern is very clear. And the one who wins means that then imagine you to be the architect of the house in the Amazon. Then it's great. Do you understand? But it's fantastic, It's a real, it's when the architects, I think, can help. I mean, at least to think. You become a philosopher and you make a proposal. Okay. Thank you.
thanks.
Bueno, if you agree, we stop here and shall we have next Friday but we need drawings, we need, materials, no words, okay? Next Friday, it can be a presentation almost in silent, only to pass images. Okay? So, fantastic. Pues, thank you very much. I will put in Moodle the link.
So, Javier, just a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Emmanuel, but you can't see me, right?
Okay.
So should we have the presentation more like words and pictures, like an A4 booklet, or what are you thinking?
We work in digital. Ours is digital, so for me the concept of A4 or whatever.
Okay. Okay, because in the brief there was something like we should write it like the magazine.
I know. I will explain that better. I mean, it's a format. Yes, at the end is to make a publication. No, I mean, yeah, you are right. I was more. Now I'm more concerned with the project, than the representation of the project. That's why. But the idea is that I will upload like a kind of a design of a journal in order to follow that indications, the text and the drawings. But please, more important to have a good project.
Okay, thank you.
And Javier, the class will be online too?
Yes, yes, has to be online because otherwise we organize a field trip to Mexico.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you are right. You are right.
And it will be at 4 too?
I think so because otherwise these people they have to get
Okay,
up at
okay.
5 in the morning. Although I think they get up at 5 in the morning. But
Thank you. Thanks, Javi.
thank you. You can say the same. Thank you. But it's a good time. Otherwise you would be a sleeping siesta. Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Then goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.